Far Cry 1, hands down, one of my favorite games of all time. I guess a lot of people today have never played it, and if you were to play it today, you probably wouldn't get it. It's like that joke in the Joker. It's like you wouldn't get it. The coolest thing about it was that the graphics for its time were mind blowing. The story wasn't bad either. Like you were some guy on an island, and you realize that there are weird experiments happening, and eventually you get to fight with mutants and stuff like that. The weapons were really cool. There's even like a plot twist towards the middle. It was such a good game. Like you had to buy a new graphics card just to play it. So Far Cry 1, definitely a classic. I think it's one of the most underrated games of its time, to be honest. People remember Crysis for mind-blowing graphics, but a lot of time people just forget Far Cry 1. And then Far Cry 2 comes along. It introduces the concept of open world, and it's in the jungles of Africa. There's no more mutants now. They removed the sci-fi element, so that's why I really didn't like it that much. Was a decent shooter, was a decent game for its time. The AI was really interesting. Like you could snipe a guy, and as long as you didn't kill it, the guy would start screaming around, and his bodies would come up in order to try to drag him to safety. But you know, it wasn't that good of a game because again, it couldn't live up to Far Cry 1. And then Far Cry 3 comes out, and Far Cry 3 comes out quite a while between Far Cry 2. So there were like a couple of good years, maybe a decade or so. And Far Cry 3 makes an amazing job at keeping you hooked in. Like the gameplay itself wasn't that great if you think about it. Because it's really repetitive, especially once you get towards a certain part of it. It's like you do the same thing over and over. But the main character, the main villain, was just so compelling. He managed to keep you there through the first half of the game, after which he dies, and I think like the game actually suffers a lot because the second villain just doesn't compete. And I don't know if it's the actor or the writing or maybe both, but like you just can't forget the villain Vaas whenever you play Far Cry. So no, that was a really great game. His sister, you know, she was another villain, I suppose, and you get it towards the end. Um, I really love that game. Yeah, Far Cry 3. Far Cry 4 was a big meh to me. The villain was kind of interesting, but meh. And the settings seem to be like a remap of Far Cry 3, and that's where the series starts getting lazy, because Far Cry 5, again, the same thing, like they keep the same gameplay formula. I personally didn't enjoy it that much, but it was what it was. The worst one was the Angry Chica edition. I really hated that. I couldn't get into it. I didn't play it. Not my cup of tea. But I'm telling you this, I'm really excited for Far Cry 6. And maybe I won't be disappointed, but the reason I'm excited is that, number one, it took a lot of time for this game to actually come out. So maybe they actually put some effort into polishing it, and we're going to see some new gameplay mechanics. Like I'm already told that players will be able to make their own weapons. They're going to be able to make their own vehicles. So there's a lot of customization. And the most important thing is the actor, right? Like you guys remember him probably from Breaking Bad, Gustavo Fring, or from The Mandalorian. I really love this actor. I really love how he manages to create this gravitas whenever he's in the room. And again, like Far Cry really needs a good villain, and I think they might actually do it with this guy. And there's also a kid in the poster, so I assume like you're going to fight the kid as well. Kids can make really great villains if they're properly fleshed out, and if the actors are good. Like think about Joffrey from Game of Thrones. You know, that's a kid, and that's a really good villain. So we'll see. Now, I understand the game takes place in a fictional country called Yara, and they're inspired by the things that happened in Cuba. Now, I'm really curious if they're going to maintain the idea of communism and socialism in the game, but probably not. I think they're not going to go with that. It's just going to be your average dictator type of thing. I'm definitely interested. Like I'm really going to look and see how the trailers are. I need to set my expectations high in order to be disappointed. But yeah, I mean, the actor, even if the gameplay is bad and the story is cringe, the actor is going to deliver. Like I don't think you can have this actor anywhere without him actually giving a good performance and manage to capture all the attention. Oh, and I forgot to mention, like Far Cry 5, there's something that I liked about it. Sorry, Far Cry 4. People complain often that there wasn't a good ending, and I think like that's the message, right? Like you go into this fictional country in the mountains, and you join the Golden Path, which is like the revolutionaries, and no matter who you side with in the end, something bad happens. Like you can either side with the progressive chica, which kills off almost everyone that's not with her, and she replaces the dictator, or you can side with the conservative dude, which I believe murders a child or something like that. And it's like no matter the choice you take, it's bad. And the reason I really like this is because that's reality. Like revolutions rarely end up being anything else than just another change of management. Once the revolution kickstarts and things start going around, you don't know um, how it's going to end up. So I like that. Like why does it need to have a good ending? Why does it have to have a happy ending? It doesn't, right? So now that I think about it, Far Cry 4 wasn't that bad, and maybe not even Far Cry 5. Like the main villain, the Reverend guy, he wasn't really powerful. He didn't really manage to get you in, but he had like all these henchmen, like the three henchmen. I remember like the girl in white that used some sort of poison in order to make you see things, and the guy that was a survivalist type of Bear Grylls, and the way he plays with your mind, and you get to do something in the game that's really cool. Yeah, like Far Cry 5 wasn't bad. Like maybe I should play the Angry Chica edition. Huh? That was such a blatant reskin. Like that's what really annoyed me, because you it feels like it's the same game. It's just like it's more pink now, and the characters, the evil characters, I just don't get it. Like when they have women with toxic masculinity, I don't like it. Like I think women can make excellent villains, and anime does a really good job. Like Legacy of the Shield Hero and Attack on Titan has some really cool female characters that are villains. But I don't like when they put toxic masculinity in a woman and call it a villain. It's just like it's such a lazy cop out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I personally don't like it. But anyway, right, let me know what you think, and tell me if you're excited about this game. I want to talk a little bit about games on this channel, not just political stuff about games. It's just that this year, nothing is coming out because of the pandemic, so I don't really have that much to talk on this channel. So every now and then when I get some news about a new video game, I'll tell it to you guys, and I'll give you my honest opinion. Now, so far, I am hyped up. But we'll see the trailers, we'll see the gameplay, and if I don't like what I see, then I'm going to tell you that meh. I can withdraw my expectation a little bit. Oh, and I forgot about Far Cry Primal. Wow, that was a piece of shit, wasn't it? I genuinely didn't like it. I couldn't get into it. Maybe if it had some dinosaurs. And yes, I know that humans and dinosaurs never walked the earth at the same time. I'm aware, Khaleesi, but still. They could have made it on another planet or something. Just find a way to give me some dinosaurs, and maybe then I would have liked it. Plus, I don't think Far Cry is really the type of game to have melee. I don't even think it's the type of game to have stealth. I don't know why they keep insisting on it. Do let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section, and hopefully we're going to get more news about this in the future.